My name is Vahid Chitsaz, part of the Elite Mastermind group. Welcome to our live session. Which part of Florida are you in?
I am in Fort Lauderdale.
Nice place, nice place. So you're a couple of hours ahead of us at the moment. I got a couple of good friends in Florida. So as a matter of fact, I was talking to one of them today. It was pretty cool. A lot of good things are about to happen from Florida. So let's dive into it. Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill's Principles, and the book. How did you get started, and how are you utilizing it today?
Oh, wow. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I don't know if you remember, this is my third attempt trying to jump on. I always have full signal, so thank goodness I'm finally okay. I got started, I want to say about 4 years ago, I was introduced to it. I got started in network marketing. And as you're aware, in network marketing, it's all about developing yourself, growing yourself, becoming a different and better version of yourself. So when I was first introduced to the book, I was actually not even in the mindset ready for it, honestly. I'm not very good at reading, at staying on the lines because of my vision. So I did the audio, and listening to him really had me like bored, and I was not familiar with a lot of the language and the verbiage and the way that he was using it in the book. So the first time that I listened to it, I only grasped a few things. But the main thing was that we become what we think, and we attract what we think. And ever since then, I've been attracting, to develop myself more as a person, as a woman, as a mother. I have 4 children. And that has stayed with me. So the times that I was able to read, to listen to it 2, 3 more times, I was finally able to listen and understand more of the concepts of what he was teaching.
That is awesome. So what are the couple of main things, or maybe 2 of the things that you can mention that you immediately took from the book or the audio version and implemented in your line of work?
Well, I always have notes with me. So a few things that I took from me. The first one was we become what we think. So I came from a negative lack mindset. Everything was worry, everything was problems. And I learned how to look at things differently, how to look at the world differently. Instead of seeing a problem, something that was negative that was happening, I saw it as, and I still see it as, what am I learning here? What is it that I have not learned yet that I need to grow to become past this problem or get bigger, better problems, right? As I see it now. Another thing is to really dive deep. If you want to be a lawyer, be a doctor, be an inspirer, be something, you really have to dive deep and not just stick your toe in the water, right? Like Tony Robbins says, you got to burn the boats and just go full out. So that's something that I have been carrying with me, because my mission is to help mothers overcome, mental, where we just hate ourselves and hate each other, and learn how to love themselves again. So I'm burning the boats in, my profession, and really sticking my guns in that. And then one more thing is waking up every morning. The first thought is it going to be a good day? Yes, it's going to be a good day. Because once you think that it's going to be a good day, no matter what happens, it's a great day.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So let me ask you a question. How old is your oldest child?
12.
Have you implemented those philosophies for them? And the reason why I tell you is my baby's only 4 months old. Well, 4 months and like 18 days. But we're not going to argue about the days. Mine is less than 1 year old. So here's my question. I can't do a lot of stuff that you can do with a 12-year-old as far as mindset, training, goal setting, having them start following a role model, all of these different things. So my question is this: what is your recommendation for parents out there, whether they're married, single, doesn't matter. If it's a step, doesn't matter, for what they can implement that you think are beneficial for the children's future?
It's funny you ask that, because that's something that I struggle with. He's 12 years old and I've only been on this journey for a couple of years. So I see in him a lot of that lack mindset that I was with. You know, my oldest is 12. I have a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 1-year-old as well. And with the smaller ones, it's easier to implement those growth thoughts because we have them already. And with the older one, it's quite harder because, you know, they're starting their life with that mentality that they're not good enough, or, you know, my son always says I can't, and it drives me insane because I don't want him to act like that. But what I do now with him is, well, if you can't do it, then who can do it? Who can do it if not you, right? And I know he catches me sometimes like, be quiet, Mom. But I see him really trying to figure out new ways to do things. You know, he wants to be on YouTube. He wants to do the whole gaming thing with his friends. And he's different. And I know that he's different. So I try to instill that yes, you know, take a look at these other people on YouTube or your friends, you know, people that you follow. And what is it that they do? How did they start? They started with nothing, with absolutely nothing. And you don't have anything to start with but what's up here. So create solutions to those problems that you see. And even though I know he doesn't like it, I see him starting to think a little differently, right? And really start helping other people see a little bit differently, even though he doesn't realize that I'm unbrainwashing him into a better version of himself.
I agree with that a lot, and I see a lot of parents. I see a trend happening right now that a lot of inspiring influencers are sending those messages to the parents that just because your mom and dad implemented those limiting beliefs to you, that doesn't mean the next generation needs to copy that. It just means that you need to be that breaking point. You need to be the X factor so that this doesn't go to the next generation. And I do see that. So it's as long as you teach them, as long as they're learning, you could do anything without violating anybody's rights.
Exactly.
As long as they get that as long as I'm doing something that's not violating anybody else's right, I'm not hurting people, I'm not preaching the wrong things, or I'm not selling the products I don't believe in, or I'm just giving people, I'm just doing it for the money part. As long as they kind of implement that, then the next generation should be much better than this generation, because we took all the garbage out and we give them the best materials, and we're letting that stay with us while we work our own self-development. So I'm a big advocate of making sure that our school system, doesn't matter how much they do, as long as they start implementing little by little, is going to catch on. Because think about it. My daughter is going to grow up, and for the maybe first 17, 18 years, let's just say she wants to just get a high school diploma. That's it. She doesn't want to go to school. She just says, I just want to be able to read and write and just have a high school diploma, right? I know with my wife, that's not going to be the case. She's going to continue, but let's just say high school. That means they're spending between 5 to 9 hours on daily basis, 5 days out of the week, with somebody else who's got a limiting belief. Mm-hmm. So when they get home, I only got 4 or 5 hours before they go to sleep and get ready for the next day. So to me, it's like, oh my God, I better go talk to that teacher, because if they got limiting beliefs, then my baby is getting brainwashed for that period of time, and then it's going to be an uphill battle for me at home. So as long as the education system starts doing that little by little, I think there's going to be a lot of improvement. But I understand what you're saying. Being a parent is not an easy thing, because you want them to take the good stuff and not the not so good stuff. But then how do you do that? I mean, there's no manual to it. I mean, think about it. This is how crazy it is, Stephanie. This is how crazy this is. It's probably the single most important task in your life that you're ever going to do.
Oh my gosh.
Meaning coaching your own children. Mm-hmm. And for the most single important thing in your life, there's no manual. There's no guidance. There's no class. There's no teacher. There's no mentor for it. Everybody just does it. Everybody just wings it, right? Just wing it, just hope for the best, right? So to me, it's like crazy. The most important thing is we got to train the parents. Yeah. Once we train the parents, the kids are just going to be a default. Anyway, I was just telling you how I feel. You can tell me your side.
I agree with you. I've considered homeschooling, But then again, like I said, I have 4 kids. So I'm like,
Right.
school is like a break for me sometimes.
Right. No, I want them to be outside so they get, they turn out to be at least more social, more outgoing. I want them to have those human interaction with their friends, best friends, cultivate that, get a boyfriend, get a girlfriend, get your heart breaking, all of these different, I want them to go through all those challenges because that's what's going to make you an independent individual. So if they don't have that, that to me is like, not that you're not going to be a good, you're going to be good at teaching them those stuff at home. It's just that, to me, it's just sometimes they need to have those interactions outside the house also too.
I completely agree. I completely agree. And, with that being said, we have to teach them how to filter the garbage that's going into our mind. Some things that I stopped doing, I completely stopped watching the news. And when I do catch the news, it's only because I'm either at my mother or my grandmother's house. And now I know how to filter it myself. But we don't watch the news. I no longer have the newspaper. The only magazines that I have are like the Food Network, Oprah, Forbes, those kind of things. We buy books that are aligned with what we believe. And, of course, he plays video games. My kids watch YouTube. They love that Ryan kid. And that Baby Shark thing, but I don't think that that's something that we can escape. But as long as we're teaching them how to filter what is going to steer them where they want to be and not be the force that kind of like a dictatorship, more of a guidance, I think that we'll be raising much better children and a much better generation. There's so much going on nowadays in schools with shootings and everything. And as much as it's being put out there, that's not the majority. That's the minority of what's happening. What's really happening is a younger generation really opening up their eyes, seeing that what they believe and what they think is how the world's going to become. So if we snap and see that the younger generation are seeing things much faster than we are, we'll be able to ride the wave with them and really make this world so much better. And I do believe that just getting back to the basics, being with each other, spending time with each other, learning about each other, and not restricting ourselves on what we want to be or who we are, instead of putting a mold and trying to fit everybody into one mold. I think that's going to make the biggest difference in our lives.
That is awesome. Listen, I want to thank you for spending this time with us. Hopefully we did it. The 3rd time was the charm. So we got you on our channel. So that's exciting. Hopefully we'll do some more and you'll be able to give us a little bit more feedback on what you're doing on, like, maybe every quarterly we'll go back and see what your son's report card is on self-development. And then you give us an update and we could discuss that. And I'll let you know how it goes with mine. So we'll go back and forth, exchange information. We should make a Facebook group just for parents so there are no kids in there spying, and just have all the parents share their tricks on how they're able to move their children through all these turbulences and challenge. That would be a good Facebook group to I'm pretty sure you already exist. I'm not the first one that came up with that idea. Thank you so much for being with us. Looking forward to do more.
All right. You guys have an awesome day. Thank you.